Hello, welcome to Aviation 101 with Laura. I just released a video that was all about alternates for Part 91 relating to using the FAA type of aeronav charts and alternate minimums, and if there was non-standard alternate minimums. Okay, so if you are more familiar with those charts, I would check that video out. But I also wanted to do a dive into the Part 91 alternate world, but using Jeppesen charts, because there's actually, in my opinion, a big advantage of using Jeppesen charts for using the Part 91 alternate rules. So before I get into that, just want to do another shout out of my channel merch. Christmas is coming. If you know a dispatcher, pilot, aviation person in your life who appreciates humor, this is my newest design, which is the smoke design. There it is on a mug. You can get it on a sweatshirt. You can get it on a hoodie. You can get it on a regular shirt. But you know, it's just the METAR smoke symbol. I'm sure you guys would love that. So 91-169 says that, and again, I did a more deep dive into this just recently, so you can go back and watch that video. I'll link to it in the video description, but it says that if you need an alternate, and I am not talking about 1, 2, 3 rule, I've got other videos about that. Go watch them. It's called The Alternate Game and The Alternate Game 2.0. But if we need an alternate, okay, what does it actually say? Well, it says here that we need, at the estimated time of arrival at the alternate, we look at weather reports and weather forecasts, or a combination of them, okay, METARs and TAFs, okay, show that at our ETA is going to be, number one, it says, like, if they haven't published anything different, basically, it says the alternate minimum specified in the procedure, or if none are specified, you use these minima. So that's 600 feet and 2 miles for a precision approach. And for a non-precision, that's 802. Now, I have to go on the record and give a shout out to some of my viewers who are awesome, because I posted the video last week about the Part 91 alternate minimums, and I talked about precision approach, and I actually is an error and said something, I think, on the video about using an LPV approach as a precision approach. Okay, that's actually not okay. So a precision approach is in fact defined for this purpose as an ILS. Now, on check rides, you may be able to do an LPV approach as a precision, but just it's not happening here. That's for alternates. And I'm going to show you why I know that's the case. Okay, so we're going to keep going on here. Now, here's my example. I used the exact same examples in that other video that I made with the FAA charts, but now we're going to look at Jeppesen. Okay, so Charleston, West Virginia. I want to look at an alternate, maybe arriving there on the 10th of the month at 12:30 Zulu. Okay, so here's the cool part and why I love Jeppesen. I love Jeppesen charts because I actually don't really have to worry at all about this statement here about the alternate airport minimum specified in that procedure, blah, blah, blah. I don't even have to worry actually about if it's a precision or a non-precision approach, because like I said, I love Jeppesen. They've done it for me. This is why I love Jeppesen. So if you look at the bottom of this page, we frequently hear this called the 10-9 or the 10-9A page. That's because Jeppesen calls it 10-9 at the very top, right under the Jeppesen logo. Okay, if you look at that, look at the bottom of the chart. Okay, and I've zoomed in, and it has all your information to use Charleston, West Virginia as an alternate. So this is really cool. And once again, notice, so here are my ILSs, and notice this says you need a 600-foot ceiling and 2 miles visibility. Yeah, that lines up with precision approach procedure, ceiling 600 feet, visibility 2. Pretty slick. Good job, Jeppesen. I like you. Okay, so that's really cool. Now, also, if like there's some kind of non-standard thing, okay, now there is some non-standardness going on. I pulled this part out of the FAA's online terminal procedures search, so you can search for that. I walked through it in the other video, but notice all these little mini notes and blah, 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 random things here. Okay, so like, for example, if you want to do the VOR alpha, you have to look at note 2, and that says if you're a category C or D aircraft, so here's my VOR alpha, And you can see right here is C, and if you draw the line all the way over there, it is category C and category D. And notice this note that came from the FAA procedure handbook that Jeppesen's already incorporated it for you. Ha, love it. So I don't actually have to go digging around in the FAA documentation. I don't have to go to that special non-standard alternate page. I don't actually even have to look for a black triangle with an A in it that you would see on the instrument approach. I don't need to worry about any of that because Jeppesen has done all the work for me. And here you can actually see, if you cross-referenced all these notes, that it is in fact correct. Okay, so yeah, once again, I love Jeppesen. They're not paying me to make the video, but seriously, go check out Jeppesen charts for real. It's fantastic. Okay, so let's actually evaluate Charleston, West Virginia, like I promised, at 12:30. Okay, and let's see if we can use it as an alternate at 12:30 Zulu. All right, so where are we looking on here on my TAF? All right, well, it says we need to look at weather reports, forecasts, or any combination of the two, really. So we have a line here of the main body of the TAF, and then we have a tempo line that also applies at 12:30. Okay, and to be more conservative, I really look for the lower of the two. So that says overcast 800, and then this one's 2 miles. I realize that there's 4 here, but 2 miles is actually more conservative. So 2 miles, overcast 800. And if I have the equipment to fly the ILS and the ILS is working, I still would need to look at NOTAMs, make sure it actually works. But this says I need a 600-foot ceiling and 2 miles visibility. Cool. Now, one other thing I should check my METAR. Okay, so this is the most recent one for the 12:30 time, and we got 2 miles visibility. Check. We also have a ceiling broken at 1,700. Now, you notice I went over this scattered layer because scattered is not a ceiling. So we have broken clouds at 1,700. So on both of those accounts, we could use this. We could use Charleston, West Virginia at 12:30 Zulu based on my filing as alternate minimums for Part 91 that is printed on the bottom of the chart. Very cool. Now, notice I keep saying Part 91 operator. That's because most Part 121 and Part 135 commercial operators actually do not use this for those types of revenue generating operations. They instead do something called derived alternate minimums using an operation specification. If you want to know more about that, I have some videos about that. I also just launched a mini course on my website. You can check it out. It is available at theaviationvault.com, and I will link to it, but I would love for you to check that out. But it applies to Part 121 and Part 135 operators. Cool. Okay. So now I do want to do another example, and this one again corresponds to my other video, except for in the other video I used FAA charts. Let's look at Parkersburg, West Virginia as a potential alternate. And let's also look at it at 12:30 Zulu and see if that might work. Now, here is my Jeppesen 10-9A chart. Okay, so again, we're looking at the bottom of the chart for the filing as alternate. And I also pulled up a list on SkyVector of what approaches are there at Parkersburg, West Virginia. Now, so there's a pretty good list. You notice there is, in fact, ILS. So you might be like, that's a really good alternate. Okay, cool. All right, that's nice. But I do want to point out something before we get too far down the road. Once again, if I zoom into this for filing as alternate from Jeppesen, weird. Do you notice there's no ILS listed here? Nope. There's also no VOR runway 21 listed here. Nope. Okay. We do have a fair amount of RNAV approaches. Okay. That's there. But why would that be? Like, why does Jeppesen not include it? Well, I'm going to tell you, because here I pulled up an FAA chart again, just to show you. But if you see on the FAA chart that non-standard alternate minimum symbol and an NA, that means you cannot plan on that approach for filing as an alternate. Now, if I went to that place, I could fly the approach. I can fly the approach, but I cannot use it for planning to use this as an alternate. And notice, once again, I love Jeppesen because, look, they didn't even list it, so I can't get confused. I don't actually have to go digging around and looking at this specifically. I just look at this at the bottom of the 10-9 page, and I can just use this to figure it out. Okay, so, well, we're going to stop, talking about how awesome Jeppesen is. Okay, let's actually just talk about this, like from the weather perspective. Can we use this as an alternate at 12:30 Zulu? Well, let's take a look. Now, actually, I see a problem immediately, and hopefully you see this too. In the TAF, it says 1 statute mile visibility due to light snow showers and mist and okay, I don't care so much about overcast at 1,100. That's pretty good ceiling, really. But this 1 statute mile, that's a problem. Because if I were in category A or category B, this says I need 800-foot ceiling and 2 miles. Same for here, 800-foot ceiling and 2 miles. Also note, they've put this note on here, authorized only when local weather available. Okay, so I can only use this if whatever I have for the weather reporting service is actually available. Okay, so no using this if the weather reporting service is not available. Now, clearly we're getting METAR, so there is weather reporting available. And the METAR that would apply at 12:30 if I'm evaluating this, it also is a problem because we have 1 statute mile, light snow, mist, and broken clouds at 500 feet. So I have neither the ceiling nor the visibility to do Parkersburg as my alternate at 12:30 Z. But okay, let's pretend it's later in the day and it's going to be at 13:30 Z. Okay, 13:30 Z. I like that. So let's take a look at that time. All right, now I know the METARs haven't come out yet, so I don't actually know yet, but looking in the future, let's look at just my TAF. So beginning at 1300, you have 2 miles visibility with light snow showers and mist and overcast at 1,000. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's check the tempo. 10 on the 10th of the month at 1300. From the 10th of the month to 1600, we got 5 miles visibility with light snow showers, mist, overcast 800. So the more conservative, there's my 800. The other more conservative, 2 miles visibility. And for a category A or category B, that would work. Now, if I am approach category C or D, which once again, I like Jeppesen because they actually printed on the chart. It just got cut off from this chart. But I could not use this as an alternate because I do have the ceiling, but I don't have the visibility. It says I need 2.25, or if I'm D, 2.5. Okay. And also I cannot use the RNAV to runway 10 because of the same problem. 2.5 is what's needed. And that comes directly from that same document I showed you guys with the FAA interprets it. But Jeppesen makes this lovely little table, puts it all together for me, and that is so fantastic. Now, one other note I want to say, when you're doing this, make sure you're looking at the time of arrival because that's what it's saying. It doesn't say anything about plus or minus an hour, okay? If I go back to my rule here, there is things about here about plus or minus an hour, but that is, do I need an alternate at all? And at this point, we've determined we do need an alternate, and we're trying to figure out, does this airport work as an alternate? So don't do plus or minus an hour. You'll just mess yourself up. You can just use the time of arrival and you look at the appropriate weather. You check your Jeppesen 10-9 page and you go from there. So thanks for watching Aviation 101 with Laura. Have a fantastic day.